Hello, Quinn here. I'm just going to rant to myself about brain injuries and relationships. Welcome. I've got to twist my hair. Um, so my husband and I got married in 2014. Okay, wait. We met in 2010, got married in 2014. Had a car accident in 2015, concussion 2016. So our marriage has been a challenge. And I'm just thinking of how I've changed from when he met me in 2010 to the the brain injury in 2016. I was very much so a I'm going to rescue and do absolutely everything by myself kind of person. Very independent, headstrong, and still am, sort of. But what's really challenging with a TBI is before I could know what my emotions were. I could know what I was feeling in the given moment. And I had more of a break to be able to say pause. I need to think. I need to reconnect. And having a brain injury, there's no gap. There's no pause. And I really feel sorry for my husband because he got a woman who's very different than the woman he married once I had the brain injury. And it's been a lot of adaptation, a lot of both of us having to get to know me all over again for who I am with the injury versus trying to be who I was before the injury. I had to accept my new normal. And I'm glad that the community talks about this, about having a new normal in our lives, a new way that we are moving forward, a new way that our lives are changing and connecting. So it's been a process. I think the thing that kept us together throughout all of this is before our marriage, we were doing this like couples program to like, are you ready to be married kind of thing. Um, and learning how to have language with each other about what our needs are, what our feelings are. Um, and we had agreements. We were we were doing this thing. We wrote out all of our defective ways of communication, our dysfunctional forms of communication, and we wrote out what functional forms of communication would look like between us as a couple. And I'm glad that we had that as a foundation because once the brain injury hit, I didn't have language. I didn't have language for how do you move forward here. So we we just had to really rely on that. And it was so funny because like you have other couples who've been married longer than you kind of guide you through this process. And before the car accident, I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's go gung ho. And then when I had the car accident itself, which injured my neck and my spine, it was my first concussion, but it was mild. I became very aggressive and irritable because I didn't know what was happening to me. And it really cost us our relationship with our first guide couple. And then, whew, then when we moved, we got another couple, and this was like I didn't know how to be with a brain injury. I didn't know how to be a person with a brain injury. I didn't know how to communicate my needs to you with a brain injury. And um, that couple, they didn't know how to work with someone who has a brain injury, and so that was a very disastrous situation because we're an interracial couple first of all, so we do have differences in experiences of race. Plus, so a guide couple needs to respect that and understand it. Plus, we have differing abilities, and they were both they were an interracial couple, but both were able-bodied, and so they couldn't really relate to that dynamic. And we had to go, okay, we got to do this on our own, and it sucked. But so what we did is we rewrote all of our agreements from who we were before the injuries and rewrote now, how are we dysfunctional as a couple? Um, I'm more forgetful. I'm more quick to anger, quick tempered. I'm I can be shut down or locked down at times, and I can't tell you exactly what I'm feeling. So there's that, and it was good because then we had the ability to go like, okay, before, if you had that like a number line from 1 to 10, before I might have been a 7, and now with this brain injury, I'm at a 2. So respecting the fact that I'll never be a 7, it'll be very hard to be a 10. This kind of like showed where my husband had to fill in the gap to help us to be normal. So, which is why I love this man like crazy. He's not in the room right now, but um, it took time because at first he was still expecting me to be normal, and I was expecting me to get back to normal, and it didn't happen. And it's having to surrender to the situation for what it is. That was the big lesson that we got. And we really had to just accept what was, and that our normal as a couple had changed. So I'm saying this because nobody told me this when I had my brain injury. And so I just want to put that out there for anyone else who has a traumatic brain injury, or if you are in a relationship with someone who has a traumatic brain injury, it's just happened. Know that there's going to be a new normal for your relationship with the person as well. Know that that's going to shift, that it's going to change, that it will alter, because um, your person is different now. And it's so important to get to know them again, because they're having to get to know themselves again, and respect that distance that happens in the process of rediscovering who we are, rediscovering what we can and cannot do, what are our limitations, etc. So I just put this out there because I go to a brain injury support group. Actually, the meeting was today, but I didn't have a ride, so I couldn't go. But we in that small support group, I hear so many times about how my partner left me kind of stories, or my mother doesn't understand me anymore. And it's because we are emotionally shifted and changed. I am blessed and grateful that my injury is not as bad as some other people's who have been like hit by cars while riding a bicycle kind of situation. I just got hit by a 40-pound piece of wood on my head. So yeah. Um, in a car accident, but whatever. It was a mild. So I have the ability to speak this out, and I've realized I have a responsibility to speak this out for my fellow brain injured individuals who are going through so much, who are suffering from not being understood, who are suffering from um, trying to adjust to this new life, to our new normal. And I have to reassess. I'm relearning a lot, and I know this is going to go long, but I don't care. It's for me. I hope this is useful to someone someday, somewhere. But what I really had to learn recently is how I show up with these emotions again. So I've dealt with the anger, kind of. Anger is so weird for me because it's like I want this over with. I want it to go away right now. Um, but love, experiencing love, experiencing love has been very different for me since my brain injury. I feel emotions like really heavily, like it's like right there in your face and you can't see anything else, and so it's like that's all that you can see. I'm just gonna braid this like this because I need to give myself a break. um so with love this year, I experienced like attraction to another person this year. Even though I'm married, I have experienced attraction and this connection with another gentleman, and I'm like, what the hell do I do with this? And I'm grateful that my therapist was like, any emotions that we feel, we just need to feel them. I have a responsibility to just feel them, to let them ride out, but not to act on them. I don't have to act on those emotions. And so that's one thing that I've had to learn this year is like, oh, I'm crying, I'm losing my mind, and I don't know how to tell my husband what's going on within me. Um, and it was bizarre. It was bizarre. Plus, I'd also never really been in a relationship since I first met my husband. So, what? That's it's almost 8 years. Um, I didn't know what to do with this. It was new emotions, and it was a roller coaster, a real roller coaster. I I had to communicate with my husband like, "Hey, I'm going through a breakup with someone, but I'm married, but I love you and I have love for this other person. This feels very weird." And I love our marriage because we just go through it. The one thing that's so strong for us is let's sit down and talk about it. How does it feel? How do you feel? What do you need? How can I help you? That I'm glad we had that foundation. I'm glad we had that foundation from that couples thing because I think it would have been a very very different experience having this brain injury. I know we would not be together, most definitely, and I would probably be some lady that's just like yelling at people for no reason, um, and constantly irritated, or probably wouldn't even be alive still because it was really hard dealing with a brain injury. It was really really hard, um, especially with the this is one other thing that the brain injury group talks about a lot is the suicidal ideation, the fantasizing about not being here anymore because I don't know how to be here in this brain, in this body, with this experience. Um, so it's a reality that folks do go through, and as a family member, I'm sure it's pretty hard to watch. I'm sure that is pretty hard to watch when it's somebody that you loved, somebody that you knew, they have changed, they're upset, you can't fix, control, or change the situation for them, and they are wanting to leave this world because they can't, it's beyond their power to deal with the injury. So yeah, I just felt compelled to do that for tonight's talk. Thanks for coming here with me. um, but just have some patience and gentleness with those that you love who have TBIs, because we're also adjusting to our world. It doesn't mean that we have a right to be an asshole to you the whole time. That doesn't give us carte blanche. Carte blanche, is that the word? Carte blanche to be total jerks. No. But do have some room for patience. Do have some room for communication and asking what is needed here. And then giving them the space to say it. Giving them the space to say it. That is so crucial because I can speak from my own experience having um, language issues because of my brain injury. We're having to put a puzzle together. You're asking me how am I feeling, and I have to connect the words for feelings with what I'm actually experiencing, and it can be very very challenging. So I do invite family members to just create the space and know it's going to take longer for that response, and have compassion for your partner who's got an injury and the time that it's going to take them just a bit longer to really connect the dots. But the love is still there. That's the one thing that I've really learned is that the love is still there, but I just don't know how to express that I need your help, that I need assistance, or that I'm ashamed that I don't want you to see me this way. That was a huge part. I don't want you to see me as this different person. Um, so it's really crucial. It's really crucial to have this understanding. And I just braided my hair all weird. I don't know what I'm doing. But I hope that this helps someone. I hope this helps our community to be a little bit stronger. Of course, people who are able-bodied could use the same um, experience, same information to enhance their relationships. You got it easier, dude. But dude, take the time. Take the time to connect. What are you feeling? And I don't know for other brain injured people, but sometimes because words were hard for me, my husband had to learn. I had to learn to be more kinesthetic and to communicate that kinesthetic experience. So of like, you ask me how am I feeling, and I say I could feel. Where do I feel it in my body? Is what I have to go to. Let me connect it there first. Where do I feel it? What is this? What color is it? And I might say I feel red in my chest, and that may be anger, or just to associate whatever it is. That may be a little mind trick that's needed. That we've really got to connect our brain to our bodies versus who or what we once were. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's been a lovely rant today for tonight's twisting up my hair so I can go to bed. Look. Yeah. I just did these. I hope I can sleep on these. All right. Um, Sending much love to you all, and I hope that you have a wonderful, safe, and secure and beautiful evening. Take care. Peace.